Okay. Live from a tropical location. Look at Yins.
Right. The destination podcast tonight, baby.
Yeah. Boy, Allison, how much sun did you get?
Yeah, apparently I got a lot.
I look like a vampire for some reason, and she's like day glow red.
We were at the same beach, sitting right next to each other.
With the same sunscreen on.
Right, yeah.
The glow from LeeAnn's face, the sun bounces off you and it hits Allison and makes you more sunburned.
That's what it was, exactly.
That must have been it.
The space station complained that there was a bright light coming from Florida, and it was LeeAnn's face.
Oh,
I'm kidding. My wife complains because I never get a tan or something like that.
I usually do. I tan pretty well. I don't know what's going on right now. Not next to Allison though.
Right now.
Yeah, Allison is well cooked.
Uh-huh.
All right. So the theme of this episode, it's been a while since we talked.
It has been.
A lot has happened. But the theme is we are going to rank the things, the biggest questions going into the season and how important they are.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to bring up some of the ones I came up with, and if you have any more, just let me know. So here,
you might.
One of them is, how is the offensive line going to do? Because we have no idea. By the way, I what do you think of getting Ogajobi? I think that was I like that.
I like that pickup.
Yeah. If you can stay healthy, obviously. I mean, that's the same with everybody. You know what I mean? Everybody can stay healthy. You know, it's awesome. But yeah, it seems like it's going to be a solid pickup for sure.
Was that to intimidate Mason to make him leave?
Right. Yeah. The whole drama with Mason. I didn't even realize.
Wasn't he the guy that knocked?
He was the guy who shoved him down.
He was the guy that shoved.
It's like, if Mason won't leave on his own, we'll bring in somebody that'll make him leave.
Right, that'll teach him.
I understand.
Mason called him a bitch.
Yeah.
Oh, during that whole thing?
I wouldn't call him a bitch. That's a big man.
Right.
Yeah. That's. I understand. If Mason's still around during training camp, they're just gonna bring in Miles Garrett just to visit.
Chase him off.
Just to scare.
Chase him off the field.
Yeah. Right. Another question I have is Matt Canada legit? I mean, last year the offense sucked, but there were lots of excuses why it sucked. The quarterback wasn't right, and the offensive line was a disaster. So we really didn't see the Matt Canada offense. And this year we're going to see the Matt Canada offense. But do we know if the Matt Canada offense is actually any good?
Yeah, we know all the sputterings from college and how great he was in college and things like that. And I still feel like a lot of Steelers fans just want to blame Canada. You know what I mean? And, but like you said, there were so many limitations offensively with Ben and the offensive line, and they were just limited in what the fancy offensive scheme that Canada could do personnel wise just wasn't there. So
it does feel like an excuse, like they couldn't run it, but by that same token, it feels like a legitimate excuse. You know what I mean? Not all excuses are not legitimate. So it feels legitimate, but it'll be interesting to see if they're really able to initiate something new this year.
I think it was legit. I think
I do too.
I still think that they didn't expect Ben to actually come back last year. Right. And so when he said, "Yeah, I'm coming back," they're like, "Oh, okay, well then we have to make some adjustments."
Right.
Surprise. Yeah. Whoopsies.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see about that. Next one is Devin Bush. I think this is big. If Devin Bush isn't right, they're kind of screwed.
Yeah, it's definitely a make or break season for him, no doubt.
For his whole career.
Yeah.
For his whole career.
Yeah.
He's got to really turn it around.
Yeah. Yeah. It's huge, especially since the Steelers didn't pick up his fifth-year option.
Waiver, the option, yeah.
Yep, yeah. I think I sort of hope that the addition of Brian Flores, and I'm sure we'll be talking about this, on this podcast, but I really hope that the addition of Brian Flores will will help Devin maybe get out of his own head.
Yeah.
I think the thing about Bush is that I think it was all related to the injury, and hopefully he's fully recovered from that now, and hopefully then he'll be fine.
Right.
But that's a lot of hopefullys.
Yeah. He was saying, and I don't know if it was a recent interview, but he talked a lot about not being able to trust himself. When he was making cuts and going for pursuit of the players and things, and that's huge. You know what I mean? Obviously, a good portion of, and we talked about this, a good portion of what his issues were mental, and sometimes even if he's prepared physically, he still has those hurdles of mentally to get over, and sometimes it's not as easy to do.
Some of that's more debilitating than the physical hurdles sometimes.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh yeah, definitely. And then the offensive line. What's it going to do? We think it'll be better. We hope it'll be better. It can't be worse.
Right. That's what I was going to say. It can't be worse.
Don't say that. You want to say things like that. But I remember last season when every week we said it'll be better next week. It's getting better every week, but it was never really getting better.
And it never did.
Kind of stagnant.
It never did.
Hopefully that's not the case.
Yeah. I mean, big changes. So, well, really two changes, Mason Cole and James Daniels. And so we'll see. I think Kendrick Green being the backup left guard right now, I think says a lot about how well he did last year.
Yeah. That competition is going to be interesting. I mean, obviously all eyes are going to be on the quarterback competition, but
that's not the only competition. I mean, there's a lot of other roster spots that are always up for a change, but that are seriously up for the steal this year.
You're just I mean, we're making assumptions that it's going to be Dan Moore at tackle, then Dotson, then Mason Cole, then James Daniels, and then Chooks, but that's just an assumption.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I feel like if Kevin Dotson doesn't win that, that's sad. You know what I mean? Because he's been starting there past, although he's been injured, and
it's his to lose.
Yeah, exactly.
It is his to lose, so we'll see. Okay, then the quarterback.
Yeah.
Big question mark. I think I kind of seems like it's going to be Mitch.
Seems like it should be. Yeah.
Then and they're just going to bring along Kenny Pickett slowly, which folks, that's okay.
Right.
Isn't that the dream? Isn't that the dream that you want to have a good quarterback and then you give your rookie some time to develop? I mean,
exactly.
Yeah.
The people that
I hope
say
he kills it. I hope Trubisky kills it. I hope
he's too
fantastic.
Right.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
I hope this is the chance he needed, the confidence booster he needed. You know what I mean? The opportunity.
I've heard people say, "Well, what if Trubisky's good? Then what do you do?" It's like you have a really good problem then.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Right. Yeah. You hope you go to a Super Bowl. I mean, really?
Right.
Where's the downside? Never cheer for anybody to be terrible.
Yeah. I mean, he's there he has a 2-year contract. If he's good, we have trade bait
to get paid.
You know what I mean? If he's good and Pickett ends up developing into a equally good quarterback as Trubisky, we have trade bait somewhere. You know what I mean?
Regardless of who the backup is going to play a little bit this year. Yeah. Somebody's going to get hurt, unfortunately.
Always happens.
Don't say
that. knock on wood. Another one is what's going on at cornerback. You don't have Joe Hayden anymore. Right. It's Levi Wallace, Kello Witherspoon, Sutton. Who knows?
James Pierre.
James Pierre. He totally could be there.
Right.
So
yeah.
You have a whole bunch of potential good guys, but we don't know
Yeah.
what's going to happen.
That'll be interesting.
Is Trey Norwood, he's a corner, right? Or is he a safety?
It's a safety.
I believe Trey Norwood's a safety. Yeah. Okay. Do we have any other questions? Do we have any other?
I sort of feel like LeeAnn and I were talking about it earlier. I sort of feel like a big question mark on their defense is they said something earlier this week that Terrell Austin was going to be calling all the plays, but it's like, you know, you have Flores there, and he's got a lot of experience, a ton of experience, more so than Terrell Austin has. And you have to wonder, like, are there too many cooks in the kitchen? Like, is he going to be, how much input is Flores going to have? Is Terrell Austin going to be open to that? What's Mike Tomlin's role going to be? Yeah, I mean, it's that seems to me like it's going to be a big old mess.
That's a great question.
It could be great, but it could be a disaster, right? A lot of egos.
I see. Well, let's go back. The way it was in previous years up to last year was Keith Butler was the defensive coordinator, but he really wasn't. Really, the defensive coordinator was Tomlin. So they promote Austin to defensive coordinator, and I'm sure, you know, not much actually changed. It was going to be Tomlin. Now you bring in Brian Flores. It's, I mean, I'm sure they talked about this, but still,
right?
Yeah, who's doing what?
But just because you talk about something and you put it on paper, you know, it happens all the time in the NFL. That doesn't mean that, like, that's the way it shakes out. You know what I mean? Or somebody else gets up control.
I'm worried that umbrella is going to hit you guys.
It
is very windy.
Yeah, so, and we were talking earlier, like, what if, you know, if the Flores thing had happened earlier, maybe Flores would be named, maybe he would be defensive coordinator.
Right, he would have been
probably
defensive coordinator.
Probably. You know? Yeah. Who knows? Who knows
we also
how?
Talked through running backs. There was a lot more running backs than I realized. I was thinking, like, who all we had at running back, and then we started going. We were talking about Benny Snell, and then I'm like, but that's not it. And then we started going through the list, and yeah, it was quite a few.
We had forgotten about McFarland and Trey Edmonds and things. So they have a couple of undrafted free agents.
So it'll be interesting to see who kind of rises up to help out Najee a little bit.
Okay,
I expected them to bring in somebody during the offseason, and they didn't.
That's the thing. I'm surprised. I just saw something today that, like, Benny Snell kind of got a bum rap. It's like, usually when he was in there, he actually wasn't bad. He just really hasn't been given a chance. He had, like, a bad game against Washington or something like that, but really he's okay. And apparently he lost some weight or something like that. So maybe they're just waiting to get to see what Benny Snell does. I hope that Anthony McFarland is not a total bust, because so far he has been.
Oh. Yeah. I mean,
you know,
I would like to see him sort of take that Benny Snell role, but it's like, we all know, we've talked about it before, like, Tomlin isn't gonna, like, allow anybody to do anything more than, like, 4 yards, 2 drives. You know what I mean? Like, it's not gonna, you know, he wants to run Najee Harris into the ground, and I don't think he's gonna be convinced otherwise, you know.
Well, that's another question, is what are they gonna, like, how good is Najee gonna be? He had a good rookie season with a crap offensive line. What's he going to do with a slightly better offensive line?
But hopefully an improved offensive line.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So
they couldn't do anything. They couldn't create holes for him at all last year. The very little that he got was, very little.
He got very little, and he still made a lot with it. So
did a lot with hardly anything.
Yeah.
And, you know, I guess he put on weight, or he
he said it's like nothing. Pounds. Yeah. He said he always gains a little and then, like, loses it at camp, like it's his typical He said people are making too big of a deal out of it.
Yeah.
I was just wondering what he was going to do, because I remember Le'Veon Bell, his rookie year was kind of big and then he slimmed down. But Najee seems to be like, I'm big, I'm staying big, deal with it, you know. So he's, hey, if we have another, if we have a Derrick Henry on our hands, I'm perfectly happy with that.
And I think it could head that way. It really could.
Yeah.
He's good.
I would not complain.
Okay. Do we have any more?
One more. I've got one more. Inside linebacker.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a great position to watch. I think that'll be really interesting to see. I'm pulling for my guy, Alex Highsmith.
Yeah.
But I also really like Miles Jack.
From what I understand, I guess they were trying to use that new guy Leal as maybe kind of like an outside linebacker. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But then with all the other like changes and like with the defensive coordinators and things like that, how will all of that like come together and gel?
I mean, you know, when they got Schobert last year, everybody's like, "Oh my God, he's so great," and it turned out to be like crap,
mediocre.
Yeah. So how do we know that?
Right.
You know,
I think sort of people are sort of like they're based on the whole Schobert thing. I sort of feel like people
also hear somebody played for a team and they'll be like, oh, you played for so-and-so and they were whatever record last year. Do you know what I mean? And it's not based on like the player's performance necessarily, but you know, you get that like success by association, which is fair sometimes and sometimes it isn't.
Yeah. I sort of feel like there's some people that are shy about Miles Jack because of what happened with Schobert. Like Schobert came in, like you said, and everybody was like, oh, yay, you know, and then he ended up sucking. So people were like, oh, I don't want to get too excited. I want to temper my expectations about
Which is
Miles
probably reasonable to like temper your expectations. You never
Yeah.
know.
It from what I understand, Miles Jack's is way better than Schobert, and Miles Jack's is
it's apples and oranges too, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
they
like
played for the same team. They both played for the Jaguars, right? Or no, Schobert.
Yeah. They were both Jaguars, yeah.
Both Jaguars.
Yeah. So it's a crappy team to have to like base your. The Jags defense was good a couple times. So.
Yeah. But then like there's like the backups and an inside linebacker are nothing. You got Robert Spillane, Buddy Johnson, Ulysses Gilbert III, and Marcus Allen. Like, ooh.
Yeah, right.
Ooh, so really hope nobody gets hurt or it works out. So
I hope nobody gets hurt. And I mean, just don't have a lot of confidence in that backup group. And I don't know, it just didn't feel to me like we filled some of those spots that I thought we were going to go out and fill with free agents. All the predictions people were making like all off season and like none of them.
Yeah. All right. So of those, defensive line, Matt Canada, Devin Bush, the offensive line, cornerback, who's calling plays on the defense, the running backs or inside linebacker. What do you think is the biggest question going into the season? O-line, I agree.
Yeah, because so much of their success is predicated on.
We know the defense stuff matters.
Right. We know the defense at worst is going to be top 10. You know what I mean? So I think the biggest question mark is it's the offense, because it's like the line. If the line can't protect, the quarterback is going to play well. Najee's not going to play well. So I think
I think it answers the Matt Canada question too. Do you know what I mean? Like it helps to answer like so many questions.
Right.
It does. If the offense is better, and it sounds like they want to be a running team. You know, if they could effectively run the ball, then that's going to make the quarterback look better. It's good. If you could run, then you could do play action and you could throw better. Everything is going to work if the offensive line is okay and if they could run.
Right.
And it makes the defense better because the defense is not out there as much.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
we solved it all right here.
And basically
Send it into the Steelers.
Right. Yeah.
We will send this. Steelers, please. I will send this to you if you need to. I'll send you the link.
We're available for hire.
do you think the defensive line is the second most important? Because, that basically sunk them last year.
Yeah, because if the running backs, the opposing running backs get to that second level where they're relying on Fitzpatrick and things to make plays, then they're kind of screwed. Yeah.
I think it's hard to say anymore, like that old adage about defense winning championships. I don't think that's enough, like, all the time anymore to be successful in the 2020 NFL. But I do think it's still such a critical factor because they keep you in games. And the problem we had so often was that they let the games get out of reach for us. And so it didn't matter what the offense was even able to do.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the defensive line being bad basically sunk the whole defense last year.
You're so on the field for shots so often in such short bursts, and it's terrible.
It was just those games, the one against the Vikings and the one against the Chargers, where they just ran wild on them. It was just that was pathetic. So yeah, hopefully that got fixed. Then what's the third most important? Is it the quarterback or Devin Bush? I think Devin Bush is actually pretty important.
I think Devin Bush.
Yeah. Obviously, quarterback's important, but I
have faith in both of those guys, so I'm not terribly worried. Like whichever one it is.
Yeah, and we've won games with poor quarterback play before.
Yeah.
If the other components fall into place.
Right. Yeah.
Heck, I can hand off the ball to Najee. You could. I'm available. I'm just like 15 minutes from Heinz Field if they need me. But the inside linebackers, if the inside linebackers are not, the inside linebackers are so important in this defense.
Yeah.
Devin Bush is not right. Ooh, that's
gonna be bad.
That's a little scary. Okay, then what?
I think the hard thing about Devin Bush too is that other teams pick up on that weakness and they know to just exploit it like over and over and over and over again. And he got just beat every time. I mean,
right. You can't. Yeah. It's hard to give him help from that position. Matt Canada, would that be the next most important thing?
I think that's an important one.
Yeah.
I
agree.
I hope he knows what he's doing.
I know we are gonna find
out. The quarterback maybe would be the fifth most important thing.
Yeah.
And then maybe either corner. What's left is cornerback. Who's calling plays on the defense? Backup running back, and inside linebacker.
That one about the defense.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the defense right now I have is in terms of importance: offensive line, defensive line, Devin Bush, Matt Canada, and then the quarterback.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Cool. What did the wind die down?
Not exactly. It's raining a little bit now. It's very
light.
Florida. It's very light.
Yeah.
It's not lightning, so we're safe.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
But this is typical Florida. It was blue and sunny when we came out. We're like, it's going to storm at some point during the podcast.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Can't miss it.
Right.
Well, what's the temperature down there now?
86. Beautiful.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful day today. It really was.
So I'm so jealous.
You have to come down.
Yeah.
Come and visit us.
I might.
Yeah. Like in the winter.
Yeah. Especially in the winter.
Right now, with the rest of, I swear, I'm surprised that the entire United States doesn't tilt, because half of the North moves down to Florida.
Yeah, right. It's true.
That has to be annoying. That has to be where
I am in Florida. There's some snowbirds and stuff like that, but we don't really have tourists where I live. But yeah, in other areas, it's bad. Like traffic goes like 10-fold, 20-fold. Yeah.
I couldn't handle that. If I lived down there, I'd be like,
wonderful.
Like, get out of here, you part-timers.
Yeah, the weather is amazing.
All right. Well, So
Bye, Joey.
cool. So cool that you guys got together. This was so cool.
Exciting.
I'm glad it worked. We need we need a name for ourselves.
Yes.
You need like a team name or something.
Donuts.
Team Donuts. We'll work on that.
Donut holes. Donut holes. Donut holes.
No comment. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, before you guys get blown away, because it looks like the wind is just going to sweep you into the
All
ocean.
right.
or
Right.
something like
We'll see
that.
ya.
Okay. See you guys.
Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.